So it's very interesting. For me, I was born in 1981. I am 41 years old at the time of this video in December 2022. And it is very, very interesting that in this period of time, at least prior to 2020, we were really programmed, and I was born into the programming. Even though my family actually did a lot of things different from a whole lot of other people, we never were a family that was driven and entirely indoctrinated by the news media, but we still listened to the radio. We still got our news from, like radio stations. Didn't have a television, but we did get some alternate news sources that were available at that time throughout the 80s and the 90s. And then once the internet came in, we started once again starting to look at some alternative news sources. So we've never been, your three-letter agency run news agency sheep anyway, but yet we were actually Baptist, independent fundamental Baptist, Bible believing, and then on top of that, we also basically believed in many of the least dietary laws of the Old Testament. And so that's just to give you a quick background on where I've come from. And it is very, very interesting that it has taken throughout my journey up till just really the other day to realize something that is very key and is very important, that is part of our journey. And as we're ascending and moving into the new world, the new ways of experiencing life and unplugging from the matrix system, that different things are happening, and you might be feeling the same thing as well. You see, one of the things that I was programmed with is essentially to find the truth and then settle upon that truth and to fight till the death over that truth, right? So you find out whatever it is that, well, this is a cell phone right here, and it's an Android. Well, that's the truth. This is a cell phone and an Android. But then you make sure that you let everybody know it's a cell phone and an Android, and everybody questions it. You let them know that, no, you're wrong. It's not an iPhone. It's actually an Android. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, that is the truth. But where we have been programmed with that is correcting people all the time and arguing with them. I mean, I never like to argue with people. But we were taught in a sense that if you were not arguing, or we may not use the word arguing, you might use the word debating if that makes you feel better. Or if nothing else, you're apologetically explaining your position because, you have the truth, right? And it has caused us to, if you're not speaking, if you're not telling people what you know and what the truth is and what the Bible says and things like that, right? Then you're considered apathetic. You're considered backslidden. You're considered not part of the fold. You're not part of the in-group. And you'll have people start looking at you funny, and they'll start treating you a certain way because you're not fighting enough for God or fighting enough for the truth and all these type of things. And there's some validity to that. But at the same time, I have recently come to understand that one of the biggest things that causes you to want to be argumentative and to have to tell everybody what you know and what you found out, and this is the truth, even if they're not looking for it, you've got to attack them and tell them that they're the one wrong and you're the one with the correct information, right? And so what ends up happening is that we feel like if we're not doing that, that part of our programming, we feel bad about that. But the key important information is to understand that two things. Number one, the same information that I have, you have available. We have the internet. We have Encyclopedia Britannicas. For those that remember what those looked like, you can go and research the information and find out, is the earth flat? Or is it a sphere? Or is it some other shape? All right? You can research that and find out a lot of the things that we thought it was a certain way, and this was the truth, are not necessarily the truth, but are part of the illusion. And man, people will die over it. They'll argue over it. They'll separate from friends and families over this stuff because it's that important. But here's the other thing that comes to mind is that not only can they research it, but the second thing is that you are not responsible for me. I am not responsible for you. And somewhere along the line, especially in 2020, with all the propaganda about everything and what's your neighbor doing and should you report your neighbor and who's wearing this and who's wearing that, all that division and all that programming caused us to be concerned about our neighbor and what they're doing instead of paying attention to what am I doing. Because I'll tell you, I'm a full-time job just taking care of me. You know, being responsible for me. I'll tell you another thing. The Bible even talks about this. The truth shall set you free. Why are so many people who claim to have the truth not free? Oh my God, if you have the truth, why are you all tied up, all in a ball, I gotta tell everybody this? Relax, everybody. It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be okay. It's not necessarily the end of the road. Or is it? I don't know. We'll find out. It's the end of the road for some, and it's the beginning of the road for others. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Does it really matter? Not really, because at the end of the day, my own internal peace is more important than whether I'm right and whether you believe I'm right or not. Because at the end of the day, what your journey and your pathway may find actually carry you in a different direction than me. And you know what? That's okay too. Somewhere along the line, we have accidentally began to think somehow as part of our programming that if you disagree with somebody, you can't hang out with them. They're not part of our tribe. And also, I've had people tell me that they believed I hated them because I disagree with them. No. Just because I disagree does not mean that I hate. Because what I have learned more and more, love is what makes the world go round. If you can't find love in your heart, to a certain extent, why are you living? Why are you doing what you're doing? We can get so caught up into the militant aspects of being right that we aren't even living. We aren't even having fun. We're not going out and building relationships with the beautiful people we can build them with. We're not going out on dates with beautiful young ladies. We're not doing these things because we're totally tied up and focused on the wrong thing, essentially. And the thing that causes and brings us bondage, brings us division, keeps us in the low vibration. And I'll tell you that the powers that be, whoever they are, whoever you think they are, whoever they are and whoever they are not, love to keep you at those low vibrations because they can keep you in bondage. And at the same time, if they can tell you and keep you thinking, yeah, but I have the truth. I have grounds to stand on, and, you know, you're just wrong. And I'm just going to tell you that you're just wrong, and I just disagree with you because things are the way they've always been. Which, by the way, they're not. So, it's 2022. Before you know it, it's 2023. So I encourage you, let it go. let it go. If you can, just let it go. It really doesn't matter. You know, your spouse doesn't get it, your girlfriend doesn't get it, your brother, your boyfriend, whoever it is, they don't get it. It doesn't really matter. Apparently, some of us are supposed to see some of these things, and some of us are not supposed to be these things. I don't understand it. Apparently, we've shifted to different timelines, and we're coexisting, in the same time frame, but it's a different time. We've shifted to a different time frame, but yet it's 2022 on our calendar, and so we are coexisting with people who see one thing and we see another. So many different like Mandela effects and different things that are going on. It's really strange and yet amazing all at the same time. But like we've always known, for those of us, we have heard this time and time again, time is but illusion. What is time? What is time? We make so much focus on time when we could actually tap into the resources of energy and, the amazing vibrations of just spending. Is it a moment? Is it an eternity? Does it even matter? Are we enjoying each second? Boom, 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 boom. Another second like that. Boom, boom, boom. Over and over and over. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's awesome. At the same time, it's so empowering and so freeing, which remember I said the truth sets you free when you actually begin to realize that a lot of this stuff really doesn't matter. It's not as important as destroying your own health over it and getting all bent out of shape. And I'm guilty of that at times. I carry a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. I've done that and get concerned about, what other people are doing and what are they believing. And, especially when it affects my own livelihood, it affects my own freedom and things like that. And I love my country, And, I hate to see my country falling apart. I hate to see some of the decisions that are being made. At the same time, I also realize and understand and have been able to see some things to understand a lot of things are not as they appear. And as we continue to unfold the layers of those illusions and unpackage them and begin to find a lot of the core of who people are and even finding our own authentic self and tapping into our own truth and tapping into loving ourselves first so we can properly attract love towards us, a lot of different things like that. It's actually pretty incredible and amazing, and it's a credible journey, but it takes actually stepping aside from our programming, where we came from, and having such a rigid, solid, bonded style of a belief system that in the end of the day doesn't serve us, doesn't better our lives, and really doesn't make the world a better place. It really doesn't make the world a better place being right all the time. It makes the world a better place loving, tapping into your intuition, and coming in alignment with yourself. And in the end, it will not only improve your own health, but also your mindset and who you are as a better person to be able to have more understanding towards people that believe something different than you. In the end of the day, they're right too. Yes, two people with opposing views actually can be correct. You can take that to the bank. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've had an amazing day. And just if you don't mind subscribing, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love to be able to know if these videos are proving helpful to anybody. If you'd like to join and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, feel free to. I will plan to put in the comments my username so we can get connected. And just, life is better with a friend. Life is better with someone who understands what you're going through. And together we can all open our minds, open our arms, and in the end, make the world go around. One person, one community, a group of people all the way around the world at a time. Have a great day, my friends.